You ever have one of those days where the whole world seems to be whispering behind your back, and every mirror you look into tells you you're not enough? Yeah, you've had 'em. Maybe today felt like that, maybe yesterday too. But isn't it funny how in the middle of all that noise, that chaos, that crawling feeling under your skin, you still did something right? Not big, not flashy, not for a crowd. Quiet, hidden, intentional. The kind of right that doesn't come with applause or fireworks, but echoes somewhere louder. The world's obsessed with noise. Flashy cars, loud opinions, social media screams. All of it's just one big circus, isn't it? All of it's just one big circus, isn't it? Everyone fighting to be heard. Everyone gasping for attention like they're drowning in silence and afraid of disappearing if they don't yell loud enough. But somewhere out there, hidden in the shadows, there's someone who doesn't scream. They whisper. They move differently, and they're the reason the balance hasn't tipped over completely. Not the influencers, not the talkers, but the quiet ones, the ones who give without posting, the ones who pray when nobody's looking, the ones who help and disappear before a thank you can trap them. And that, my friend, is what gets heaven's attention. You think it's the preachers, the polished ones in suits with a spotlight and a microphone. No, it's the girl who gave her last few coins to a stranger and walked home with holes in her shoes. It's the boy who hugged his broken father even after all the beatings. It's the mother who cries in the bathroom and then wipes her face clean just to cook dinner with a smile so her kids don't carry her pain. That's not noise. That's holy rebellion. That's what the divine leans in for. The quiet ones, they're dangerous. Dangerous to the darkness. Because they don't need an audience. They just do what's right. You ever seen someone sweep a street like it's sacred ground? Like every bit of dirt mattered. That's worship. You ever watched a janitor whistle through night shifts no one notices? That's faith. This world laughs at that, labels it weak, poor, pointless. But heaven throws a standing ovation every time someone chooses light over ego, kindness over credit. But no one claps down here. No one films that. Because the real ones don't market their good. They bury it in silence. They bleed for others and call it normal. And maybe, just maybe, that's why they shine so bright when the lights go out. The world says shout your success, scream your pain. The world says shout your success, scream your pain. Decorate your wounds and sell them for clicks. But what if the most powerful move you ever made was keeping quiet while you forgave the unforgivable? What if real strength was turning the other cheek when vengeance was begging for attention? That doesn't trend, that doesn't go viral, but that's the kind of quiet that shakes the gates of hell. That's the kind of silence that makes angels take notes. And here's the twisted part. Sometimes people will mock you for it, call you weak, say you're stupid for not clapping back, for giving too much, for loving too hard. Let them talk, let them laugh, because the louder they get, the clearer the truth becomes. They don't understand silence. They don't understand peace. They've been trained to measure worth by noise. But you know better. You know real power doesn't need to scream. It just moves, it just exists. And it terrifies people who've never seen it. You don't need a platform to be chosen. You don't need a platform to be chosen. You don't need a following to be effective. You don't need recognition to be holy. Just keep showing up. Keep being good when no one's watching. That's what makes the heavens smile. Not the show, not the drama, but the still, quiet yes in your spirit when everything around you says quit. Keep going. Not for likes, not for claps, but because something bigger sees you and is smiling. Not because you were loud, But because you were true, you ever notice how some people seem to get it all handed to them on a silver platter? Pretty little lives, picture perfect stories. And here you are, scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to figure out why life feels like one big cosmic prank. Let me tell you something. You weren't overlooked. You were hidden. Hidden on purpose. Hidden on purpose. Hidden so no one could contaminate what was sacred in you before the world got a chance to twist it. Funny how pain does that. It doesn't just wound. It disguises. It protects. It prepares. You thought you were buried, but you were planted. You thought they left you, but you were kept. While they were out there chasing applause, you were getting built in silence. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every sleepless night wasn't wasted. Oh no, that was divine construction. Blueprints written in blood, sweat, and the kind of tears no one ever sees. See, when you're chosen, your suffering hits different. It's tailor-made, personalized chaos. Because greatness doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in the dark, in the forgotten places, in the shadows, where you learned to stand without applause, where you learned to fight without backup, where you learned to fight without backup, where you learned to keep your mouth shut and your soul loud. People only value what's visible, but the most dangerous things are invisible. Electricity, gravity, pain, faith. You got built where no one was looking. You didn't skip steps. You took every painful one. And that's why when your time comes, and it will, they won't recognize you. You'll look familiar, but something will feel off. They'll say, I remember them, but they'll whisper it with confusion. Because they saw your old version. They never met the version forged in fire. The one who rose while bleeding, the one who smiled through storms. They never met the version forged in fire. The one who rose while bleeding, the one who smiled through storms. You're not late. You're in disguise. You're being cloaked from people who would have exploited your glow too soon. That silence you're sitting in, it's protection. That isolation you hate, it's insulation. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to be the glitch in the system, the one no one saw coming. The ones who get handed everything break when the wind shifts. But you've built your bones on broken promises and buried dreams. You've stitched your skin back together with hope and spite. And now you walk like a storm in human form, not because you're proud, but because you remember what it felt like to be ignored, underestimated, thrown away. And that memory, that's your weapon, that's your fire. While they chased influence, you chased survival. While they polished their masks, you embraced your scars. That's why the world doesn't scare you anymore. Because you've already died 1,000 quiet deaths and came back laughing. They think the chosen ones are born in palaces surrounded by light. But the real ones, they crawl out of pits. They claw through nights so dark even God went quiet. And yet they keep moving, keep showing up. Not because they're fearless, but because fear doesn't impress them anymore. They've sat with it too many times, drank coffee with it, named it, danced with it. And now, it doesn't lead, it follows. You're not just being tested, you're being tailored. Every sharp edge is being filed for precision. Every loss is recalibrating your aim. Every no is setting up the right yes. And when the curtain finally lifts, when the light finally hits your face, no one will believe the silence you survived just to stand there. But you will. That you will. You'll remember the nights the world forgot you. The mornings you rose anyway. The times you cheered for others while choking on your own dreams. And that memory will keep you grounded. keep you dangerous, keep you real. You know what's funny. Everyone keeps looking for signs. Some divine neon light in the sky blinking, go this way. But when life actually whispers, no one listens. You want answers painted on billboards, don't you? This way. But when life actually whispers, no one listens. You want answers painted on billboards, don't you? But the truth, the ugly, crawling, bone-deep truth comes in silence. No fireworks, no thunder, just a nudge, a shadow in the corner, a gut feeling you ignore. You know what's terrifying. The idea that the very thing you've been begging for might already be at your feet. But because it didn't come gift-wrapped in what you expected, because it wasn't loud or shiny or approved by others, you stepped right over it. That strange moment where the noise dies down and something inside you mutters. But we don't, do we? We drown it out with distraction, noise, endless scrolls, empty laughs, artificial highs. It's easier than listening because listening makes things real. And real means responsibility. Real means responsibility. Real means you might have to admit you've been sleeping through your own destiny. Again and again. You weren't ignored by life. You missed the whisper because you were waiting for a scream. And now it's urgent. Now it's clawing at your chest, ripping into your peace, trying one last time to get your attention before everything collapses under the weight of what you refuse to notice. People think warnings come in chaos, but the most dangerous ones are quiet, subtle, smooth like poison in a glass of wine. You drink it because it tastes familiar. You stay in places that rot your soul because they feel normal. You drink it because it tastes familiar. You stay in places that rot your soul because they feel normal. You keep toxic people around because they wear the right mask. And all the while, your intuition is burning, screaming from the inside out. But no, you label it overthinking, drama, sensitivity. You cover it with fake smiles and polite silence. Because if you actually admitted what you felt, if you actually obeyed that gut scream, you'd have to do something about it. You'd have to change. And oh, how terrifying that is. Change. But let me let you in on a little secret. Change doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't ask your permission, it knocks once. And if you're too distracted to answer, it kicks the damn door in. That's what this is. This isn't a casual message. This isn't some motivational fluff to post with a pretty background and forget. You feel it, don't you? That tightness in your chest. That crawling discomfort every time you pretend you're okay. Every time you say yes when you want to scream no. That's the alarm bell. That's the sign. And no one's coming to interpret it for you. No one's showing up with step-by-step instructions. Because this part is on you. You either listen now or you bleed later. Quietly, slowly, from the inside out. This is a final call, and it's not coming from outside. It's rising from deep within the wreckage of all the versions of you that died trying to please everyone but yourself. There's something shifting. You can pretend not to see it. You can keep playing your role, reading your lines like a good little actor in someone else's script. But the curtain's about to fall. And when it does, all that'll be left is the truth you tried to outrun. You've been warned, but not in fire, not in thunder, in whispers, in discomfort, in inconvenient truths wrapped in mundane moments. You ignored the easy way, and now the harder lesson's coming, and it's got your name on it. So sit still, shut out the noise, and listen. Really listen, because this voice won't yell, it won't beg, it'll just disappear. And when it's gone, so is the chance you didn't think you'd ever need. You ever felt like life was laughing behind your back? Not the ha-ha kind of laugh. No, more like the slow, breathy chuckle of someone who knows something you don't. That kind of laugh. No, more like the slow, breathy chuckle of someone who knows something you don't. That kind of laugh. It's not loud. It doesn't need to be, because it's already inside you. Yeah, right there. In that uneasy silence when everyone's gone and you finally look in the mirror a little too long. The moment when the noise fades and all that's left is you and the truth you've been ducking like it's some street thug coming for your wallet. But it's not after your money, no. It's after your comfort, your patterns, your beautiful little illusions you've grown so attached to. It wants you to see, and it's tired of waiting. The game you've been playing, it's rigged, and not by them, not by fate, not by some invisible enemy out there in the shadows. By you. You set the rules. You built the walls. You told yourself stories to help you sleep, like, I'm doing my best, or it's just not my time yet. Cute, harmless, until it starts to rot from the inside. And by the time you notice the stench, it's already in your bloodstream. You became your own gatekeeper, your own jailer, smiling while you locked every door that could have set you free. And now you wonder why everything feels like it's closing in. See, there's something about being honest that people fear more than failure. It's exposure. Standing there naked in your truth with no mask, no applause, no excuse. Just you and what you could have been, what you still might be, if you had the guts. But that's the funny part, isn't it? Most people don't want freedom. They want safety in chains, predictability. They want safety in chains, predictability, security and misery. Because the devil, you know, at least it doesn't surprise you. At least it doesn't ask you to grow. But oh, how it starves you. How it drains the color from your dreams and replaces it with grayscale routines dressed up as responsibility. You ever notice how fast people turn the channel when they start to feel something real? It's not entertainment anymore. It's a mirror, a trigger. And triggers are dangerous. Triggers mean you've buried something raw, something sacred. And if you dig it up, if you touch it, the whole castle of make-believe comes crashing down. That's what makes this moment so risky. You're standing on the edge, not of failure. No, failure was safe. You're standing on the edge of something worse. Success, purpose, power, real power. The kind that doesn't shout, doesn't beg, just exists unapologetically. And you're scared of it, aren't you? Because what if you actually are who they said you couldn't be? What if every time you doubted yourself, you were lying? What if your delay was never about time, but about fear dressed in logic's clothes? What if you've had the key the whole time and just refused to turn it? What if you've had the key the whole time and just refused to turn it? Because turning it means stepping through. And once you step through, there's no going back, no blaming, no excuses. Just truth, responsibility. And oh, how heavy that crown can be when you've spent your life crawling. But look around. The walls are cracking. The script is stale. The lies don't hit like they used to. And deep down, you know, something has shifted. Stale. The lies don't hit like they used to. And deep down, you know, something has shifted. Something's calling, not loudly, no fireworks, no flashing signs, just that persistent, annoying whisper in your chest saying, get up, move, now. But hey, it's your move. Always has been. Always will be. But what if I told you that the box is burning now? What if I told you that while you were busy waiting, the clock didn't pause, the world didn't slow down, and your destiny didn't take a coffee break? Your turn was never about their permission. It was about your decision. But you didn't decide, did you? You waited for a signal, a green light, a voice from the clouds. Instead, all you got was silence. And that silence, that was your sign. There's something grotesquely beautiful about silence, isn't there? It's where the truth lives, not in their compliments or their applause. That's noise, but in the quiet. That's where your real voice begins to scream. It screams in your gut when you're in the wrong room. What they won't tell you is that your breakthrough doesn't look like a spotlight. It looks like a breakdown, like a conversation that rips the illusion to shreds, like a night where you finally say enough. That's the doorway, not some grand entrance, not some golden invitation. Just you, sick of the script, tearing the page in half and writing your own line in blood. That's what stepping into your power looks like. Not elegant, not polished, raw, messy, real. They taught you that discomfort was danger, that fear was failure. But what if fear was the compass? What if that uncomfortable itch in your skin was actually your calling scratching to be let out? But you keep smoothing it over, dressing it up, painting over it with dreams you think are more acceptable, more manageable, more digestible for the people around you who already gave up on theirs. The timing doesn't get better. The storm doesn't clear for you to dance. The storm doesn't clear for you to dance. You dance in the rain. You scream through the thunder. You move when your legs are shaking and your chest is tight, because that's when it actually counts. But hey, what do I know? I'm just the voice that's been echoing in your head, the one you've been ignoring, the one that's been getting louder lately. Maybe it's not the world that's unfair. Maybe it's you still playing a role in a play you never auditioned for. Maybe it's time to set the stage on fire and improvise the scene they said you were never fit to perform in.